Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Sonal Shukla. I am the Director of Education at the American Writers Museum. One of my roles here is overseeing the John Estey Student Writing Competition. Through this process, I've been able to meet and speak with some amazing young writers. Tonight, I'm thrilled to bring back one of those past winners from 2022, Elizabeth Boguslavsky, to tell us what winning this competition has meant to her.
When I was announced a winner of the John Estey Writing Competition in 2022, I felt like a little kid. I was once again the little girl that had fallen in love with books and writing, the little girl that had dreamed of becoming an author. The poem I had submitted had felt raw and real and vulnerable, and I was deeply proud of it, so winning felt validating and empowering. Seeing my poem get recognition on such a level was something beyond I had dreamed of, and it proved that what I had to say was meaningful, that people wanted to listen. Although I was a devoted writer as a kid, as I grew older, my writing became a small and private pleasure, enjoyed only semi-frequently. I wrote less and less, and considering myself a writer just felt silly and childish. However, as I developed my entry for the competition, I fell back in love with it. Participating in and winning the competition gave me a huge push in my writing. I was met with so much support. Members of the museum even reached out and implored me to continue writing. Because of the museum, I felt heard, impactful. Suddenly, my desire for human connection and vulnerability didn't feel so impossible. I was inspired to keep writing, and it's a passion I still practice years after the competition. Writing is sacred, a way for me to process larger-than-life emotions and my daily catastrophes, a way to turn my fears and failures into art, even if it's only for myself. I'm so grateful to the museum for the opportunity it could give me, and it feels incredibly rewarding to stand here and be a part of an organization that gave me so much and helped me in this way. This competition remains a turning point in my life. The American Writers Museum encouraged me to embrace and nurture a passion I almost abandoned, to believe in myself and the power of my voice. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Courtney Borjas, the Assistant Director of Education. I work with Sonal on the writing competition, and I have been working with students in the museum since the day it opened, and I love to see the effect that the museum has on young people. I am thrilled to reintroduce to you one of our winners from 2021, Aishling Punjwani.
Thank you. When my teacher announced that I won the John Estey Student Writing Competition back in 2021, via Zoom, of course, I didn't quite understand. I was so confused as to how a beginner poet like me could have accomplished something of such great standard. However, once it sunk in, the first thing I did was scream at the top of my lungs for my mom and my dad. I wanted to see their faces light up with pride, as my own had a few moments earlier. It was the light at the end of a very dark, COVID-fueled tunnel for me, and I wanted them to see that. Winning this competition did more for me than just impressing my parents, though. It kick-started my writing journey. I began to learn more and more about different poetry styles, and I fell in love with spoken word, or slam poetry. To date, I am a part of my school's slam poetry team and have since performed, by God's grace, nationally and internationally. Additionally, I have won awards within Young Chicago Authors Slam Poetry Competition, formerly known as Louder Than a Bomb, the largest slam poetry competition in the US. But to say that writing is just important to me would be the greatest understatement of my lifetime. Writing to me has become like breathing, utterly impossible to live without. I have relied on it during some of the hardest times in my life, when my grandmother passed, when I developed Tourette's syndrome, and one of two of my greatest supporters, my father, suffered from a heart attack. He has since recovered and is watching me from our table with my lovely mother as I speak. And poetry is not just an old friend that I come back to every now and then. I live and breathe it. I love people in verse, and I know them through learning their favorite art pieces, and I have made some of my closest friends through poetry. And I'm lucky beyond belief to say that I can no longer describe myself without using the word poet. And I cannot thank the American Writers Museum and the John Estey Student Writing Competition enough for giving me a part of myself that I can't imagine living without. Thank you.